Good evening and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking out time and attending this webinar. I hope it is a interesting discussion for all of us. Just setting the context, since we all know that from the time the nationwide lockdown was announced on the March 25th, around 32 crores of Indian learners were affected. While the situation looked uncertain and dismal, many educational institutes took things in their own hands and shifted the classes online. Suddenly, online learning that was almost non-existent for the traditional learners in the Indian ecosystem came to the rescue and enabled the much-needed continuity. Universities, colleges, schools, and other educational institutes worked hard to learn the tools and techniques that would enable effective learning for their students. And while we do see a lot of institutes warming up to the new normal, struggling and fumbling to maintain continuity and to a larger extent succeeding too, the big gap that continues to exist is the outcome. Outcome is something that has been a topic of debate and deliberation even during the normal times. But under the current circumstances, we see that the gap between learning and outcomes has widened further. So today we have with us Shantanu Rooj, CEO School Guru EduServe, to discuss how we can minimize this gap and achieve better outcomes through online learning. This session is going to last for an hour. The last 15 for question and answers. Thank you once again for joining in the webinar. Over to you, Shantanu.
Thank you. So let me pull out the presentation that I prepared for today. I think COVID-19 has brought about a huge change in our lives, right? So it has brought forward digitalization by at least 10 years. Everything that we do, everything that we did pre-COVID has changed today. The way we shopped today, the way we used to go and entertain ourselves, the way we used to possibly enjoy restaurant food, the way everything all around us, the way we used to do banking, the way we used to purchase material, everything is changing. So has the world of education also. The way we learned and the way our children are learning today, I think has changed quite a lot. This change, which has come largely because of COVID, has brought forward online education by at least 10 years. However, we also believe that the world after COVID is not going to go back to the same status. I think post-COVID, we'll start seeing a lot of these experimentations which are being done by institutions, by colleges, by schools today will have an impact on the world of education going forward as well. The classrooms won't look the same. We will see a concept of a blended learning which will start taking shape in times to come. Lots of schools and lots of colleges, lots of universities have done many experimentation in today's times. They've tried out with live virtual sessions. They're trying out with online assessments, for example. They're trying out with digital distribution of courseware. They're trying out taking digital feedback from students. I think lots of these experimentations that you're doing are going to have a lasting impact on the way education is going to be conducted, even post-COVID. What is going to be very important for all of us as we look for the future of education is that two different words are going to become very important: personalization and engagement. In the older and traditional format of education, we always knew that our age-old education was built for a one-size-fits-all type of a structure. But however, human beings are all organic people. One size fits all do not work. Somebody loves to study in the morning, I love to study in the evening. Somebody is a faster learner, somebody is a slower learner. Somebody loves to read a book, somebody who loves to watch a video. I think that people needs personalization. Every individual is different, and education needs to get personalized to people's need. Not only for the traditional learners, but also for the employed learner, right? So one of our researches that we did at School Guru said that in the next 4 years' time, the number of employed or the adult learners will exceed the number of traditional learners. I mean that what I want to highlight in this case is that when we talk about education, we need to talk about both these segments, which are going to play a very important role in times to come. For an employed learner, obviously one size fits all doesn't work. For example, if I am a Java engineer and I want to learn a bit of Python coding, because that's what my organization needs today. I want to get into an university or an institution. I want to learn Python for the next 10, 15 days time and start going back to my work and start implementing them, right? So people want to go to a situation which is just in time type of education. So we believe that the future of education is going to be very different from the past of education. And today, just as we were preparing for this webinar, I heard that our cabinet, our parliament has just approved the national new education policy, which has been waiting for the last couple of years' time. Possibly one of the reasons for this fast forward is because of COVID-19. The relevance of online, relevance of digital education has become significant suddenly, and the parliament just now passed this this national new education policy and actually adopted that. Second thing which is going to become important is engagement. How do you engage a learner? How do you actually take care of his interests? How do you actually arouse the curiosity inside a learner? Because learning will only happen by arousing the curiosity of learner, because in today's times when Google knows everything, just knowing something is not good enough. And you need to learn. And learnability is one of the very key traits, soft skills that we are all looking for as an employer. When we're looking at that, every single educator, every single faculty member, every single teacher needs to focus on learner engagement. How do I bring back the learner onto my portal? Because the ability to teach on a classroom where I have a controlled group, when I have a 30, 40 learners all sitting together inside the classroom, nobody can go out without my permission, nobody can come in without my permission. The online world is very different, right? So online world, students have that button called log out. He can log out any point in time. There are some sessions which are live online, but then there are lots of sessions which are self-paced learning. And students or learners will only come to sessions only if they find the sessions to be very engaging. And we're going to discuss some of these tools, techniques, and practices possibly, which can help improve learner engagement. And hence, in times to come, ability to teach online will become one of the key skills of an educator, right? So as you're aware, look at the way, for example, banking has changed in the last 20 years. Look at the way telecom has changed the last 20 years. Look at the way airlines has changed the last 20 years. Look at the way mutual funds have changed the last 20 years. All of these have changed because of deregulation in this country, and deregulation by adoption of national new education policy, I think is just the start of it. And such pandemic, whenever pandemics like this happen, like such disasters happen, one of these very key, very important, or very famous political economist called John Kingdon once made a quip. He said that when the opportunity, timing, and disaster all three comes together, it creates a huge amount of policy window in which major structural policy reforms happen. COVID-19 presents that opportunity for all of us as a country to make those structural changes, which actually will make the land more fertile for many different life forms of education to coexist and to start flourishing. At this point in time, before I go to this to my next slide, I have a question for all of you. Let me bring on my first polling question for all of you on your screen. Here it is. My question is, do you believe that online learning, either pure online or blended learning, is here to stay even after COVID-19? Right? So let's take about 30, 40 seconds and let's see what the audience feels like, and we'll orient to ensure that our webinar actually addresses most of that. Yeah. I'm seeing lots of responses coming in. Yeah. Thank you so much. So here it is. Almost about 88% of the people believe that online learning, online education, or digital format of learning has got a role to play in times to come. When we talk about online learning, when we talk about digital learning, what are the different things that I should care for? That's very important to set the yardstick right? When institutions face this pandemic, suddenly in the month of March, I think, uh, everybody resorted to some sort of a business resilience type of a strategy. People wanted to ensure that my learning, my education, my classes, my teaching somehow has to continue, right? Because we are all caught unawares. We are not prepared for this pandemic to happen, neither the students, nor the teachers, nor the institutions. And everybody took up some sort of a digital policy. Somebody started using Google Hangouts, somebody moved to Microsoft Teams, somebody started using Zoom. There were institutions who even started using WhatsApp. I think that's the right thing to do at that point in time, because we were all not prepared to handle this pandemic. But as we go forward, the realization is that whatever we are doing now is not for the short term. It's going to be for the longer term. The pandemic is not going to leave us very, very soon. And we need to prepare ourselves for the future, right? And the future of education looks like that the digital part of education will have a role to play. Whether the future of education will be online may not be. Will we go back to a complete classroom system? Even that looks unlikely, right? So the future looks like a blended, where the teacher possibly would give out videos to students to start watching them first and then come to the classroom, so that the classroom time can be largely used for more interactive sessions, right? So for discussions, for group discussions, for query solving, for doing lots of activities there too, so that learning becomes more interesting for students. I think digital will have a lot of role to play. When we look at online learning, I think these are the various keywords which comes in flashes in the mind. One, since the future of learning is going to be blended, it's important that the platform that you use, the software that you use, the tools that you use must be able to handle multiple classrooms. Means when a student actually is learning some part of his stuff inside a physical classroom, face-to-face, some part online, which is self-paced, some part virtual, which is live sessions by the professor or by the teacher, your platform should be able to manage all of these in one single system, and should be able to track a student's progress on one single platform. That's going to be important, because you can't have multiple systems to track progress of a kid. You should be able to handle your assessments on the same platform. You should be able to handle assignments on the same platform. You should be able to get a lot of analytics and data, because it's all digital. So one thing which is going to be important is a lot of decisions in times to come by the teacher is going to be data driven, right? And lots of decisions by the software is also going to be data driven, because the software is going to analyze who is a faster learner and who is a slower learner, right? And it's going to automatically adapt itself to ensure that it meets the requirements of both the types of learners. So, and data analytics is going to play a very important role in times to come, and we must be aware of it. In our opinion, the future of education looks like a different life form, which is going to be something like always on the go, which is online, which is on site, which is on the job, which could be gamified, which would be crowdsourced, just in time. It will have all of these parameters, and hence you need a system which can manage all of these in one single platform. The need for one single digital comprehensive strategy is going to be very, very important times to come, because when I'm running an online software, I'm running an online learning, or I'm running a blended learning where I use some part of a digital infrastructure, I can't ask the students to go to a separate platform for assessments, a separate platform for doing live sessions, a separate platform for download content. And even if I do that somehow, how do I assimilate all this data together to create a one single progress report card for this child? And if I can't create one single progress report card for the child, I will not be able to personalize the education, right? So you need to ensure that we need to have one single learning management system, LMS, or learner experience management system, which can manage all of these for the institution and all of these for the faculty members. Right? So this is going to be very, very important now. In times to come, we believe that when we're looking at a life form of education, which is going to be multimodal, right? Where students are learning something face-to-face, students are learning something online, and students are learning something on virtual platform. I believe that the era of just passing acquired information by a teacher is going to go away, right? Education has already started moving on from just being able to acquire knowledge to actually learning a subject or a topic. Right? In today's world, as the world of work is changing, the requirements from demands from the education system is also changing. Today, curiosity is valued more than intelligence, right? So the role of a teacher, for example, in times to come, we believe that is going to become more like a facilitator, person who can arouse the curiosity of the learner, and learning will automatically happen. So the role of a teacher will be able, which must be to be able to create the right type of an ecosystem in which learning automatically starts flourishing. And to be able to create that ecosystem, I will need several tools, right? So if I need to create a right painting, I'll need to have the right type of tools to be able to create the right painting. Just live sessions, just online sessions doesn't work, right? So it's like, giving me one single, canvas and giving me one single paintbrush and asking me to paint the entire picture. It may not work all the time, right? It works for some sort of painting, but it not work for all sorts of painting. And hence I need to ensure that the learning management system or the tools or the platform that I'm going to use must have many tools, many of these tools, and I will use them as the need be. And the usage of this tool is art and science both. I need to ensure that my learning management system in one single platform is completely customizable, right? So if I am a history teacher and I'm a mathematics teacher, so if the history teacher wants the learning management system to completely look different, the history teacher wants it to be look completely different. So I should be able to customize the look, feel, everything for the LMS without the need to go back to my software guy. So that's the way what I mean by customizable. So everything to be done by the front end without knowledge of any single line of a code. That's going to be important. Integration of live classes, assessment tools, analytics, gamification, messaging, collaborative tools. All of these is going to be very, very important if you want to run a complete online learning management system or a blended or a virtual learning in times to come, right? So we'll need all of these functionalities as tools, and we're going to discuss about how you are going to use these tools in times to come. So before I go to this slide, I have got a question for all of you. So let me ask the second question of my poll. Okay. Here it is on your screen. For some of you who come from educational institutions, and the rest of you who come from corporates, maybe from L&D side or from HR side, do you think that your institution has got a comprehensive digital learning strategy? A comprehensive digital learning strategy is akin to setting up a comprehensive campus, physical campus. In the earlier days, we used to have a physical campus. I used to have a lab inside. I used to have an examination center inside, the administrative team inside, classrooms inside, a staff room inside. All of these was inside the campus, right? And students do not need to go outside the campus to do anything else. So one single campus could handle everything else. In the digital format, that campus is called a learning management system, which should be having all of these. And it's important for institutions to ensure that I have a comprehensive digital strategy to be able to conduct my digital learning, digital teaching. Yeah, here it is. Here. So almost 60%, 58% of the attendees here say that they do not have a digital learning strategy. And some of them believe that they do have a digital learning strategy. Amazing, great. So let's go forward from here on. So what I mean by this. So when I look at a learning management system or digital infrastructure, it's important that I should be able to configure, I should be able to individualize or customize the platform to the way I want to see it, right? The way I was telling you, a mathematics teacher may need the learning management system to behave completely different from the way the history teacher wants to behave, right? And so the look and feel, the personalization of the course page, the tools that I use, the techniques that I use are going to be very different. That's possible. And hence, every teacher should be able to customize the look, feel, as well as the tools in the entire platform all by themselves. They should be able to, based on their own pedagogy, they should be able to pick up the tools. Let me show you how possibly you can customize a particular LMS, for which I need to go back to, I've set up one single learning management system here. And let's say this is my learning page. And the teacher comes here and says that, okay, the administrator has set this page up for me, but why have they put a calendar on top? I don't think that's important. I think that it should come. That's not the important thing. I think that I want to ensure that I want to motivate every child, and I want a gamification block on top, right? And that's only for me. And the history teacher may not agree with me, but as a mathematics teacher, I want to change this. Let's see, how do I do it, right? So I have this button called turn editing on. Yeah, I push this here. I click this turn editing on, and lots of software start showing up on my screen now, right? So I pull this up and put it up on top, right? So I see a block called leadership block on top, calendars come on the bottom, and I see what are the other stuff that the administrator has given me, or something called a completion tracking block, some list of all the activities, some RSS feed coming up. So RSS feed coming up for me, and the activity results of the tests. Badges, okay. So I also believe that I need something more for my kids, okay? So there's software here called add a block, and I can pick up any one of these various, options that are showing up for me. Let's say I want to show up the learning plans or the latest announcements, okay? I have announcements coming up on I'm going to make announcements from time to time. I want the latest announcements to show up as a block on my course page. So I clicked on that, and there's a block called latest announcement, which have started coming in. I turn editing off, and the look and feel of my course page is changed. Now I have a leadership board on top. I've got calendar on second. I've got completion progress. I've got all of these, and I've just added something. Once I configured this part, this upcoming notifications, as soon as now start putting notifications there, it'll start appearing for my kids. So the look and feel of this page is something that I am changing on the fly, and it only changes for my particular course, doesn't impact anybody else, right? So as we go forward, we'll need to ensure that I, as the administrator of my course, should be able to make all sorts of changes on my course all by myself, and that's going to be important. Somewhere near California, actually near Los Angeles, there's this place called the Death Valley. The Death Valley is the warmest, hottest, and the driest part of America. Nothing grows in Death Valley because it never rains in Death Valley. And hence the name Death Valley, right? But in the winter of 2014, it actually rained in Death Valley. 7 inches of rain over a short period of time. And in the spring of 2015, a phenomenon happened. The entire Death Valley was filled with flowers. What it went on to prove was that the Death Valley was actually not dead. It was dormant. The seeds of possibilities were all lying beneath the surface for the right type of circumstances to come, and the seeds would all start blooming. That's actually happened. And that's actually true for all organic systems. You change the parameters, you make the environment or make the climatic conditions right, and life is inevitable. Education is also an organic process. We have to ensure that lots of educators, lots of policymakers mistake education to be something like an assembly line process where you can just fine-tune the systems, fine-tune processes, and make sure that one single process will work for every single learner. And that actually has never happened, right? So education needs to be personalized to every learner, and only then we'll start seeing learning outcomes. And hence, every single learning platform that you use, every teacher, when you start a course, I'm sure as faculty members, we decide the learning outcomes for this particular program. What do I expect the learners to know, learners to learn at the end of this program, right? So once having decided the goal, and then I need to know where I'm starting it from, because the first thing when you start a GPS is to put the starting point right. Only then you decide the route to take from the starting point to the end point. So all learning management systems, when you start a course, must have a module to do competency management through a pre-assessment module. Through a pre-assessment module, I should be able to manage and understand what is the entry-level entry-level competency all the learners who are going to start taking this program of mine. Only then do I decide the path that each learner has to take to reach that final outcome, the final goal in this case. For which, when I go into a blended learning, a multimodal learning, I will need to use these various tools. I'll need to use some part of online self-paced learning. I'll need to do live and virtual sessions, and I will also need to conduct a lot of face-to-face sessions. Right? That future of education is blended. And we will see that in classrooms, we'll see a lot of usage of technology, where we'll see that students are being given the distributed the courseware much in advance, and students are being told that watch this video before you come to the class, because I do not want to waste the class time just repeating the same topic that I could have done over a video. So I want the students to watch the video and come back to the class with all their queries, all their doubts, all their problems, so that we can actually use this time for more interactive sessions. Technology is going to play an important role, and we have to ensure that the learning management systems or the digital platforms that we are all going to use must ensure that it can handle all of these different formats of learning on one single platform. That's going to be very, very important times to come. So the same platform can handle attendance inside the class, the progress tracking inside the class. Same platform should be able to handle the feedbacks that are coming out of our live sessions, the attendance of the live sessions, and should also manage the attendance of the people when they go for self-learning, and tell me, say, a combined attendance of that kid in all these three classrooms. Should be able to tell me the progress tracking of the kids across all of these three classrooms. So that is going to become very, very important in times to come, right? Every single learning management system or every single learning tool that I'm going to use in the future must ensure that I can deliver any format of content today. Because as an institution or as an organization, you do not control the content part of it or delivery of, because content is becoming a commodity. Content is available on YouTube. Content is available all the places all across the world on Google, right? So I want to use all of this content on my learning management system the way I want to, because content is not going to drive learning for me. It's going to be a combination of content, interactive sessions, live sessions, face-to-face, feedback, assessments, assignments, all of these all put together is going to constitute my learning experience. Content is only one of the components, and hence my learning management system should be seamless, should be able to handle all different formats of content, right? Should be able to deliver any format of video. I'm serious about it, that it should be able to handle any format of video and should be able to be adaptive and personalized. So let's say 2 people took that pre-assessment test. Now, based on the pre-assessment test or based on the various periodic tests which are happening on your platform, the software should tell you that, hey, student A, you should be going to video number 3 directly because you fared very well. You don't need to watch video number 1 and 2. Whereas this student who is a slower learner should be taken through video number 1, 2, and then move to video number 3. So softwares have started becoming intelligent by use of data and machine learning and artificial intelligence, that they start making the learning experience adaptive and personalized. It should be able to deliver all formats of textual content, PDF, Word, PowerPoint, digital books, Google Sheets, all of these, without botheration about what the format, the template is. It should be able to deliver that. It should be able to deliver all sorts of SCORM content, right? SCORM is so some of you who might be new to SCORM, SCORM is a format of creating interactive content, right? So, for example, there are 2 different formats of video. One video is a 30 minutes pre-recorded video. It starts at one place, ends at one place, right? It's like your YouTube video where you can play the video, go and watch, have a cup of coffee, and come back. The video would have played completely and shown that you have actually completed that. The SCORM makes the entire video interactive. So what it does possibly is it'll play only 2-3 minutes of video and then ask you to answer a question. Only if you answer that question right will it allow you to go forward. Now, these sorts of interactivity which is inserted inside the video at periodic levels, which could be asking a question, playing a game, solving a crossword puzzle, it could be many of these things, ensures that learning becomes more interactive and more engaging, right? So you can't fast forward the video. You have to watch the first 3 minutes well, and if you didn't watch it well, it will not allow you to go forward, right? It stops you there. Go and watch the video all over again, answer the question rightly, and then make you should be going forward. That's SCORM. But then many learning management systems today have got a facility or a tool which can convert any video into an interactive video. That's going to be very important to you, because creating a SCORM compliant video or creating a SCORM video is going to be very, very expensive, right? For example, only a 1 hour of SCORM video could cost you anywhere from 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh rupees. That may not be feasible for an institution to invest that type of money over a long period of time, because we need a large number of content. But a tool to make any video interactive, pick up any video from YouTube or record your own video and make it interactive, makes learning engaging, right? So several learning management systems will have tools to make any video interactive, right? Let me show you an example of this. So let's say, I'm opening a video for you. This is for example, an example of an interactive video, okay? So the video starts playing here. It shows you a few images, and then it stops here and says that, now answer that. What are the ingredients for this delicious smoothie is? Only if you answer it correctly, will it allow you to go forward. Otherwise, it'll say that's wrong, right? You go and watch the video again. You answer that question rightly and start watching the video all over again. It shows you something more. And he asks you the next question, right? Blueberry or strawberry, right? What is it? So you'll answer this question. So videos have started becoming interactive, and making interactive videos ensures that your learning remains a bit more engaging and children are actually engaging with your learning content. So ability to make any video interactive is going to be a very, very important tool in times to come. If you can't do it, your video will become very boring, it become very staid, and or else you will need to invest in only SCORM compliant videos that may not be economical or financially viable in times to come, right? So when you're looking at a platform, I suggest that you should be looking at a platform which can make any video interactive and should be user-friendly. Any teacher should be able to do that. I want to insert a crossword puzzle, I want to insert a test or a quiz or a game or anything like that. I should be able to do it on the fly. Any learning management system or a tool that you use must have the ability to conduct virtual classes within the platform, right? I should not be asked to subscribe to a Zoom separately or a Google Hangout separately or a Microsoft meeting or a Microsoft Meet separately, right? Everything should happen on the platform. So my students have got only one platform to manage. They should know from their calendar that on this particular day, on this particular time, there's a live session happening. I click on that live session and directly enter the classroom, right? I don't need to go into anywhere else. And any live session that a teacher conducts must have all the tools that a teacher will need. Teacher will need a whiteboard for sure, right? So where I need to write something, the whiteboard on a virtual session is almost similar to a blackboard or a whiteboard that I use in the classroom, where I need to draw something, write something, annotate something. All of this is going to be important. And today's live sessions have got many new new tools which you can use to make learning more engaging. For example, you can use opinion polls the way we use, for example, the way you can manage or measure your engagement, the way you can have a feedback for every single live session that you're conducting so that the teachers know what is going right, what is going wrong. Every single live session that you're using should be auto-recorded for future purposes. For example, a mathematics teacher has conducted a live session now. The session should get automatically recorded and should be available on the learning management systems for all students who could not attend a live session for some reason. Or even for a student during the examinations, for example, I want to watch that class lecture one more time. Can I go back to the video and watch it again? Sure, obviously, yes. So every single live session should get auto-recorded, available on the LMS. It should have whiteboard systems, opinion polls, feedback sessions to make sure that learning system is more engaging and it becomes more, the learning outcomes actually becomes more better from all of these systems. And all your learning platforms must ensure that this is available within the platform, not outside the platform. That's going to be very important times to come. One of the important tools that most educators use is assessments. Assessments are important, but I keep debating with a lot of educators whether term end examinations are important or not, but then assessments are definitely important because I need to measure how each individual or how each learner is actually progressing with time. So every learning management system that I buy or I decide to use, a digital infrastructure that I want to use for my institution, must ensure that it has got a very comprehensive assessment management system. An assessment management system which can manage all different formats of question papers, not only MCQs. It should be able to handle multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blanks, descriptive type, numericals, matching answers, voice enabled, video based questions. It should be able to handle all of these type of question papers, right? It should be able to handle randomization, right? So I have a question bank and I want every student to take up a test, for example, over the weekend. Once I tell the rules of the software to the system should be able to give a unique question paper to every single child so that everybody gets an individual question paper. There's no concept of cheating or sharing, but everybody sees a unique question paper. They take those tests, but the system should be able to tell me who performed how. Having taken the test on, for example, full marks of 30, when I actually compile all of these results and all of these assessments into one single grade sheet, and I want to create one single grade card, I want to move, for example, marks to a grade or a grade to a marks. I want to, for example, rescale them. I want to, if I had got descriptive type of questions, I want plagiarization checks. All of these should be an inbuilt tool in the platform itself. That's very important. Last but not the least, the platform should be able to handle very extensive analytics. And that's very important in times to come, because I want to measure analytics for two different purposes. One, I should be able to know how the students perform, right? So that's going to be very important. But at the same time, as a faculty member or as a teacher or as an administrator, I also want to know how intelligent was my test in itself. So the software should be able to give me all this analysis so that my ability to take assessments improves over time, right? My question bank matures over time. So it should be able to give me both side feedback, both side analytics, right? The platform, another way of doing assessments is also by assignments. People are asked to do stuff offline and possibly submit those assignments for teachers to view. And in times to come, you will need lots of intelligent tools to be able to do assessments. Let me show you some of these stuff that you can do using an intelligent assessment system, for example, right? Let me see. So some of you who have already seen many assessments or online examination systems, I'm not going to waste time doing that, but I want to show you something which is possible in today's scenario, right? Let's say a teacher wants that students should be drawing something, right? So he wants to show drawing on the system, and I want to measure creativity. I'm an arts teacher, right? So how do I do that part? So here I've set up something which is for an arts teacher. So I have got here. So once I've given an assignment, you're supposed to draw a scenery for every single child, and here it is. So once you start this, for example, this is a tool which every student now has got access to, right? And the student uses a pen and paper to be able to do this part, right? So here it is. I'm doing this. I pick up my color, and then here it is. Go back. Okay. I select another one, and here it is. Don't go by my drawing, because I know that I'm not a great artist. But then what my intention was actually to showcase the ability of platforms to be able to do very interesting stuff in today's time, right? So I can do a lot of interesting stuff in today's time. Right? So if you see that, I can do an actual proper drawing using learning management systems today. And this is something which is going to become very, very important in times to come, because you want to create multiple types of assignments. Assignments where the students are drawing on the screen, for example, or possibly you draw it offline and or even upload it for yourself. So all of these systems should be possible, right? You will need assignments where, for example, you need to take audiovisual type of inputs, right? And you need students to practice, for example, let's say storytelling, and the teacher says that you need to write a story and actually tell their story to this class. And an online scenario, how do I do? So platforms will have something like a video recording tool, and it will tell you that as a student, this is what you can do, right? It gives you this option that, yeah, here it is. So as a student, I have my tool now here, and I can start recording. I can tell my, yeah. So here it is. Ram and Shyam were good friends, and they were actually walking down the road, and they met Rahim. So I start telling my story here, and once my recording is done, it says, yeah, recording is over. I can play the recording for myself and watch whether it's done well. And if I'm happy with this, I upload this particular test, and here it is. So today's learning management systems have started becoming intelligent, that they not only handle those stuff which are normally required as hygiene in terms of MCQs, file attachments, take a picture and upload, but they can do a lot of intelligent stuff on the screen, audiovisual, and it can do plagiarization check, descriptive, subjective, voice enable. It can take inputs in voice and convert them into text as a story writing. All of this is possible, and we have to ensure that creating a digital infrastructure is important, and it's so important because it's got long-term implications on the institution, and hence it's important for institutions to spend a lot of time to evaluate the right type of platform, ensure that I have all of these tools so that my teachers can actually utilize them for the benefit of the learners. You will need many more functionalities as you go forward to make learning more interesting and engaging. You need discussion forums, because you need peer-to-peer learning in an online format or in digital format. Students miss out the ability to meet each other, greet each other, talk to each other, and share their ideas. So discussion forums here in this case works great. Discussion forums can take inputs today, not only in text, but also in videos, in voice. So people should be able to put their comments, comment on each other, and actually not only learn from the teacher, but also learn from peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer learning is going to become very, very important in times to come. It should have a comprehensive calendaring system. Everything on the learning management system, which is calendared, which has got a timestamp to it, should automatically go and populate on my calendar. So I was showing you the demonstration the last time. So this calendar, for example, here, automatically, all of these entries that you see on this calendar here gets auto-populated. As soon as you say that, there is a event which is going to happen. So you put up an assignment and say that due date for assignment is on a particular day and a time, it will go and automatically update on the calendar. These are all important tools, because you don't want the teacher to do multiple things. So you do want the teacher to only focus on learning. Everything should happen automatically. So calendaring is going to be very important, and calendaring is important also because this calendar has to be intelligent, because it should be able to send you out notifications on time, nudges on time. It should sync itself with your other calendar on your mobile phone. All of this is going to be important. It's important to ensure that your learning management system should have the ability to do project work, because there will be schools and colleges and institutions have always used collaborative tools, right? So there's a project work which is given to 4 students together, and they're supposed to work together and submit the project work as a collaborative exercise. So students sitting at their own homes at 4 different places should be able to collaborate on one single product, and hence project works which can do that is important. And in an online scenario where we do not meet the children every day, taking regular feedback and surveys are going to work very, very important in times to come, because that's the only way you hear out what difficulties they're facing, where they want you to slow down, where they want to move faster, which is a topic they want you to repeat. All of these are going to be important. So conducting surveys, not only at the end of the course, but periodically, taking feedback from them on live sessions, on assessment, on assignment, on videos, all of this is going to be important, and your LMS should be able to do that. Not only take the feedback and surveys and give you a tabulated result, but also analyze that result. Today's most LMSs today are intelligent, that they can take the feedback from all of these learners and can run AI tools to analyze that answer and give you proper synopsis and synthesis of the action that you need to be taking. For lots of courses, you will need the ability to issue digital certificates, right? So, and digital certificates without any manual intervention. So I want to configure a course, maybe for an adult learner, where it says that students will take up this course, attend all of these sessions. And now, once your attendance is 80%, let's say that's the rule, and if you have passed this one assessment, that's my final assessment, and you have secured at least 60% in the earlier 3 assessments, this is the rule that I'm setting up, the software should give you automatically a digital certificate with your grades and marks, right? That's the what thing I want. Your LMS should be able to understand this part, should be able to issue a digital certificate, properly signed, stamped, digitally recognizable, secured certificate to the student or the learner, having he met or she met the required, the prerequisites for getting that certificate. The software should be able to do that, all of these automatically. These are important functionalities on an LMS. One of the most important things that a platform should be able to do is to give you a lot of data and a lot of analytics to be able to do progress monitoring, right? This is going to be very important. And if you can't monitor progress, obviously you can't personalize learning. And so let me show you some of this stuff which is important. For example, on this LMS, this particular teacher has got this tool called Overview of Learners. Click on this Overview of Learners, and I get to see student by student view of everything here. So every student, greens are the ones they have studied, blues are the ones they have not studied, red are the ones which are time bound and they still do not do it, right? So for example, and this is something which is showing up. Now Ankit Jaiswal is a student and I want to see what he does. I click on Ankit Jaiswal, I see the details of this child, I see his profile, see badges he has earned, everything else. And if as a teacher, I want to know the complete report of this child, I click on complete report and here it is. I figure out that this is a file that he has never seen. This is the file that he has never seen. This is the file he has seen one time. Last was on 12th of July at 3:56 p.m. This SLM he has never seen. This video is never seen. This interactive content he viewed. So I get to know complete granularly the details of this particular child. And then I can decide that I need to send a message to this child or possibly take some other corrective action. Not only that, the software should be able to give me lots of analytics on an overview basis, right? So for example, from an administrator perspective or from a HOD perspective, I need to know lots of stuff. I need to know how are my students progressing on a particular course, different course, how many people downloaded that, who are progressing, who is not. I need to know, for example, attendance of the kids, right? So I need to get the attendance reports. How many people, let's see, how many people attended the live sessions? All the live sessions that my teachers did, and who all attended the live sessions. I want to know how many people attended the live session, for example, last week. Here it is. So many live sessions conducted, so many people attended it. If I click on this, I'll get the list of students who attended it, and to the extent about who attended it for what duration of time. He came at this time, he went out at this time, he was present for 1 hour and 8 minutes, right? These are important information for a teacher to be able to take the corrective action for themselves, right? So I need to know lots of stuff. I need to know progress. I need to know enrollment, who is logging, who is not, what time does he log in, what time does he log out. All of this information is going to play an important role in personalized learning for all of us. So hence, the platform should be able to give me a lot of information, a lot of graphs, charts, data, granular feedback, and most of this report should be actionable. So they're saying that if I figure out that something is not going right, I should be able to take an action, send out messages, send out reports, all of these. You will need lots of some more tools. You need to ensure that your platform has got social learning. People will learn largely from peers in times to come. And hence you need to ensure that it can handle Wikipedias, it's got blogs, discussion forums, chats, knowledge sharing. You should be able to handle, you should be having a notification section. Send notification by SMS, email, app notifications, all of these on the fly. Some of them pre-timed, some of them intuitively by the software, and some of them manually driven by the teacher, right? It should be multilingual because you do not know. The future, today's National New Education Policy says that now onwards, till about class 5, every child needs to be taught in their mother tongue. This suddenly changes the paradigm of education in this country, right? It says that class 5 to 8, students will have a choice to learn from in either their mother tongue or in English. So now every school will have to think about mother tongue. I need to teach French, I need to teach Hindi, Bengali, Assamese, Gujarati, all of these has to happen. If my platform can't handle this, how do I take care of this, right? So it should be multilingual and it should be able to personalize learning and very advanced analytics for the children. One of the important tools, and I won't spend 2-3 minutes time, is on gamification. So gamification is not being able to play games, but is actually using game techniques, game theory, to make learning more engaging and interesting, right? So what happens is, for example, how do I ensure that learners or students, when they go back to their classrooms, they go back to their homes, they go back to the dormitories, they're still coming and logging into the platform all the time? I was talking to one of my friends, and he said, I asked him that, normally what do you do here when you get up in the morning? He says that I do three things. I check my Facebook status. I actually check my WhatsApp status. And third thing is, I go and open my Candy Crush. It's Candy Crush. What do you do at Candy Crush? Why that? He said that I love, the concept of earning points, beating someone there, crossing those different levels, getting those badges. I said, what does the point mean to you? Nothing. It's just a sense of achievement, a sense that I did beat the other guy, makes it interesting for me, right? Games today, lots of computer games uses these gamification techniques very, very well to make those games interesting, engaging for the learner. And education platforms today are using a lot of these game techniques to make sure that learning becomes interesting and engaging. So, for example, you can have leadership board, people knowing who is number one in the class, who's number two, number three, number four, number five, number six. And number six guy gets an intuition or gets a message saying that watch these two videos and you can earn so many points and you can possibly beat the next guy and you will become number five. Today, if you take these assessments to this next to assessment, you can earn 300 more points and you can change from level 7 learner to level 8 learner, right? So all of these tools becomes interesting for a learner while they go into online learning. Issuing up badges. We all love getting those badges once they do something well. And all of these things should be configurable. Because the English teacher wants it differently than the mathematics teacher. The Sanskrit teacher wants it differently than the Gujarati teacher. It should be able to manage completion tracking, the nudges, the notifications, interactive games that you play. All of these has to happen automatically by the software based on the rules that you create. Let me show it to you again. Possibly that may make it interesting, right? Yeah. So I was in this particular course and I saw this system called, this is the gamification engine in this particular course. And for example, here it says that I'm a level 1 learner and I've got few points here. If I want to see who are the other people in the class, how are they performing? Though I have logged in as a teacher, so I'm not participating in this game. It shows that this is a ladder. This person called Vamsi Subrayan is the person who's level 10. He's the topper guy. He's at 4,500 points. Somebody else, this is the ladder it looks like. And people love beating each other. They love growing up the ladder. But all of these are something that you can set. You can set the rules. The software platform should come with a preset rules, but should be customizable at the hand of the teacher. You should be able to change everything. For example, I don't like that star. For example, I don't like the stars. I should be able to change my own images the way I want to. So all of these things that I'm showing you should be all configurable at the hands of the teacher. And this is going to be important when I look at a platform, because only if the platform is interesting, only if it can catch the attention of the learner, will the learners come back again and again and again. And you'll see a great learning outcome, a great completion rate for your courses. And you will use various tools. You'll use self-paced learning, virtual classrooms, but there are so many things which has to be the parameters or the features of the learning management systems. Things like gamification, things like nudges, things like notifications, beating each other, sense of competition, sense of completion tracking. And based on all of these, creating an adaptive, personalized learning path for every single learner is going to become very, very key in times to come for all of us, right? So at this point in time, I think in interest of time, I'd like to stop here. And Kavita, very happy to take up questions in case there are any from all of our audience here.
Yes, Shantanu, thank you so much. It was a pretty insightful session, and looking at all the features of a learning management system, a good learning management system makes it pretty convincing that even we can have desirable outcomes even in these times or other times using using the online learning method. So I have a couple of questions. We'll just quickly go through them. So somebody asked that, can I conduct subjective or mathematical assessments using a learning management system?
Oh, obviously, yes. And that's going to be very, very important in times to come, right? So, Kavita, if you allow me a minute or so, I would like to show this to the people who are asking this, because I actually had so many people who was asked me that particular question about, can I do subjective assessments on a learning management system? Can I do mathematical assessments on a learning management system? So let me take you through something here. Obviously, yes. And that if you can't do it, it's not going to work for several people. Let me take you to one of the courses here where possibly, let me see if I've got, I'd set up one of the courses where I had people to taking up that system. Okay, yeah, here it is. So let me show you the way, for example, a subjective assessments can be taken up on a learning management system, and way also mathematical questions, for example, where you have to write very complex formula, for example. How do I do that? Okay, so let me show you exactly that one. I'll take you, without showing you the details, I'll take you directly to the questions where I'm attempting subjective assessments, or for example, yeah, here it is. So here I'm attempting a subjective assessment, and most learning management systems will come with a tool where the students can just speak and the software will automatically type, full stop. I can not only type in English, but I can also talk in Hindi and the software will type for me in Hindi, full stop, right? So Kavita, you must have noticed that whatever I was speaking now have started getting typed. Right? I can do it in other languages too. Tame kem cho. So if you notice that, now I try to speak in Gujarati, I can't actually speak too many sentences there. The software is typing in Gujarati there, right? So and
how many languages does this software support?
Normally, platform should be language agnostic. Normally, in technology terms, we call them Unicode compliant, which means that most languages in the world and the most fonts that we use in the world are Unicode compliant. So it's many languages. If you want me to show you some of these stuff on my screen here, look at the different type of languages here. Yeah.
Oh.
You see this? Yeah. Okay. Most of the languages that we have all grown up with should be the software should be able to handle.
Okay.
And second thing is that in case you have to handle mathematical questions there, and that's another thing which is very important when you handle learning management system. And let's say that a student has got this question saying that, how do you calculate the sum of this, 1 by 2 and minus 10 by 9, for whatever it means. And let's say the answer is square root of 87 plus 2 pi r. So what do I do? The software comes with this type of tools. Yeah. So I'm using my mouse to write this, plus 2 pi r, and keep noticing what the software does. In this case, if you notice the software automatically understood what I wrote. This is called handwriting recognition, and it took this answer now here, right? So you need to ensure that softwares have got these type of tools to be able to handle those type of difficult questions in text.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shantanu. That was an informative session. I thank all the attendees here who took out time to be a part of this session. We would be soon conducting another webinar, and we'll keep all of you informed. See you all soon. Thank you so much. With that, we log off for today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.